What's good, boys? How are we all going? I thought today I would make a different sort of video and I would do a Q&A sort of style. And the reason for this is because in the last video there was quite a lot of controversy in the comments. Not a lot, but there was a lot of people who disagreed with what I had to say about one-to-one risk to reward ratios, and there was also a lot of people who really like it and who have switched to trading one-to-ones and had a lot of success with it. So I thought it would be a super interesting time now that I've been getting more comments recently and having more things to discuss. I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to make a Q&A video. Also, the hotel I'm staying at has the fucking Wall Street bull which is mad. I'm really liking Florida so far. It's been amazing. The animals and the nature here is just sick. That's why I decided to film this out in the garden. There's awesome trees. I love all the palm trees. We don't have this where I'm from. Well, we do, I think, but they're everywhere here. I've seen 2 snakes this morning. I've seen skinks everywhere. I've seen 10 alligators. The alligators are just everywhere. It's wild. But yeah, I really wanted to make this video like a proper vlog, and I just wasn't able to because for some reason when I'm out in public, I just can't get the camera out. I just really struggle to walk around and talk like this when there's people everywhere. I know you should have that mindset of you shouldn't worry about what other people think of you, and you're never gonna see them again, but it's easier said than done, bro. When you're in that situation and you're standing there looking like a goof with your camera, it's really hard to film. And so I've made 2 vlogs while I'm here, and I've edited them both and been hoping to publish them on here, but they're just not very good. I'm looking around like this all the time, looking paranoid, and yeah, I just don't think that they're very good. But it's been really good practice for me, and I think eventually I will get to that point where I'm able to make lifestyle videos vlogging and walking around and doing shit. But I'm just not at that point yet. I'm getting better, and I'm practicing right now doing it. So yeah, you'll see more of that in the future. Also, follow me on Instagram. I'll put that in the description. I'm going to start posting a lot more of my actual life on there so you guys can get to know me a bit more without me having to put that all in the YouTube videos. Also, the reason I'm actually here is because a family friend of mine went to space last night, which was wild. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, watching the rocket launch. It all went successfully. We were all pretty nervous about the whole thing, hoping it went well, but it did. And yeah, it was just amazing. So that happened, and yeah, we've been able to I stayed in this hotel for completely free. We had a 5-star dinner last night inside of the Kennedy Space Center, all paid for by SpaceX. Same with the night before. Yeah, it's just been crazy, such a privilege, and I'm really lucky. But yeah, that's why I'm here in the first place. What I wanted to talk about was the video that I made in Miami, and it was basically just in that video I took 2 trades. They were both one-to-one. Fuck man. Basically in that video I just was talking about the trades that I took, and I took 2 trades, and they were both one-to-one risk to reward ratio trades. On that day I was break even, so I took 1 loss and 1 win and didn't make any progress. I was just break even on the day. But I wanted to talk about the comments on the video because it seemed to be a lot more controversial than I really intended. Nothing that I said was controversial, but there was 2 different sides in the comment section, and I found it really interesting, so I thought I'd talk about it. Basically, half of the people in the comments were saying about how they've switched to trading one-to-one risk to reward and it's been really helpful for them, or just giving me advice about it since they maybe they already have been trading that way, and they were giving me advice on just some tips on how to do it and some things about it. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Basically, half of the comments were talking about how they like one-to-ones, and the other half were talking about how they don't agree and they think that you should be shooting for higher risk to reward ratios. So I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to talk about that stuff. I really like those comments that are disagreeing with me because it benefits me, it helps me. That it's not like people are commenting saying you have no idea what you're talking about. It's like, I don't agree with you and here's why. And I like that because it helps me realize where I'm potentially going wrong and things that I need to improve on, and it gives me ideas like this to talk about. So the reason that I trade one-to-ones is simply because it's easy to track my data. And so many videos talk about like trading psychology, and they talk about how collecting data is the key factor into becoming a profitable trader. And I sort of tried to understand this for a long time and never really did, because I was like, yeah, I can track my data, but how's that gonna actually benefit my trading? How's that gonna make me a better trader? Because there's less variables. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm really, really good at maths, because I'm actually really shit at maths, but I think it's very simple. I think in trading, to become a better trader and to become a consistent, profitable trader, you need to understand the maths and the data of your trades. So that is what journaling and collecting data is for me. It's working out the mathematics and the statistics of your trades. The issue that I kept having was when I was trying to track my data, every trade was so different. Even if I was taking the trade based off of the same confluences, I had the same reasons for entry, and I was still following my strategy, the problem was that I would always end up with a different outcome because of where I was shooting for in my profit. So when I switched to a one-to-one, it became so much less varied, because all I had to do from that point was make sure that I was taking good setups, which I'll admit sometimes I take shit setups, but all I have to do now is take a setup and know that this is my strategy, and know that I have that edge where I'm more likely to be correct here than wrong here, and all I need is a one-to-one there. Whereas if you're taking a 1-to-1 today and then a 1-to-3 tomorrow, and then a 1-to-2.3 the next day, and then a 1-to-5, you don't know what win rate you need to be profitable. But if you just take a 1-to-1 every day, and this could go for a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-3 as well, you just need to know what your win rate needs to be in order to be profitable. And the reason that I chose a 1-to-1 is because that really improves psychology, because you're winning more often. Whereas if you're shooting for like a 1-to-4, you're probably only going to be winning, if you're lucky, 30% of the time, probably not even. And what that always led to for me was, feeling like I'm always losing and feeling like I'm a worse trader than I am. But when I use one-to-ones and I'm winning consistently, it gives me confidence, and it makes me confident to enter my trades and not so worried about that. It also means that I can risk more, because I have there's a way less of a chance that I'm going to lose, say, 6 trades in a row. So the way that I base my risk now is if I lose 6 trades in a row, I blow my account. Whereas if I was shooting for 1-to-4s, I could very easily lose 6 trades in a row. So in that case, I'd probably have to be risking much less. And the thing is it doesn't change things mathematically, but it changes things psychologically. And I think a lot of the comments on that last video that I made were sort of trying to tell me that it's an unprofitable system, and that it's a bad way to trade, and that you should shoot for higher risk to reward ratios. And that it doesn't change things mathematically. That's the truth. It doesn't change. So you can't really say that using a 1-to-1 risk to reward is unprofitable. At first glance, it seems like it is, because you're not making more money than you lose when you lose, but you just have to win more. You just have to have above a 50% win rate. So one of the comments on this video, and I'm not hating on any of the people commenting, by the way, I encourage you to comment things like this, because this is what makes me think, and this is what gives me things to talk about in these videos. But this guy said, "Some advice. Why continue doing 1-to-1 risk to reward? After 5 years of trading, in the long run, you'll end up losing more than you're winning with a 1-to-1. After that, he said some positive things, and it was a good comment. But there's no elaboration there. Like, why after 5 years would a 1-to-1 mean that I'm going to lose more than I win? It doesn't really make sense. If I know that I have an edge in the market, and I know that I win more than 50% of the time, which right now I have a 66% win rate, how is that going to make me lose money over time? If anything, it's going to make me more money over time. So I think there's a bit of a, maybe I'm missing something, and maybe there's something critical that I'm not understanding here, but it seems to be that people just think that having a higher risk to reward ratio makes you more profitable, but it makes no difference at all. It doesn't change things. So it's something that, and I know that I keep regurgitating this information a little bit, and I keep making videos probably talking about the same points, but every time I make a video, I'm getting new people who haven't seen the other videos kind of saying these points. I'm kind of trying to explain myself and point you guys in a direction that I think is working for me. Another comment that I got here is, brother, why you don't take partials? Set your stop loss at break even, cash out 50% or more, and then just let the rest run to a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3. Now this is a good comment. This is a smart thing to do, and it makes sense. But this also affects your data. So if I'm, going to cash out 50% and then set my stop loss to break even, that's going to make it harder for me to collect data. It's going to make it, every trade is no longer going to be, all right, did I win? Did I lose? Why did I lose? Why did I win? Instead, it's going to be, I shouldn't have taken partials here. I should have taken full profit. Or I probably should have taken a partial here instead of trying to let it run because it ended up stopping me back out at break even. What that does is that it creates more variables and more complications in the trading method. It creates things that are harder to understand, and it makes that data collection and tracking what's working and what's not, it makes that harder. It makes it harder to keep track of what's working and what's not. I just said that twice basically, but I did try that for a little while. But yeah, like sometimes I would make 50% of my profit and then be like, damn, I should have just taken full TP there. Or, I'll take 50% of my profit and then the next one's a loss and then I'm down anyway. So that's why I don't do that. Then another comment, when you're up 180, why not set a stop limit at, let's say, 150 so you keep some profit and not break even? So my response to that is, the reason that I wouldn't set a stop limit, at $150 in profit is because if I do end up getting stopped at that TP and it never runs down to my break even and ends up going to my full TP, then that's just another thing to be frustrated about. It's another complication in the data, which I am then saying, if only I did this, or I should have done this. And I don't want any of that anymore in my system. I want it to be, this is what I did because this is what I thought was going to happen, and this is the result, if that makes any sense. So I've tried taking partials and moving stops into profit and things like that, but it makes it too hard to track where I've gone right and where I've gone wrong. The way that I like it is having a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and the only statistic that I need to keep track of is my win rate. If my win rate drops down to below 50%, then I know that there's something wrong with my execution. There's something wrong with the way that I'm entering my trades. Maybe I'm entering my trades because I'm, I don't have enough discipline, or maybe I entered a trade because I took a loss and I didn't want to finish on a loss for the day. Those sort of things are way easier to fix and, cancel out of your trading. And I'm just trying to make things as simple as possible because I've spent way too much time now. I'm at the 2-year mark. I've spent so much time watching videos over and over again, talking about strategy, talking about where to set your TPs, where to set your stops, how to scale your positions, and it's all just sort of fluff to me now. It's like, if I can't be profitable and have a higher win rate than 50% with 1-to-1s, then none of that other stuff is going to work for me either. It's all just making it harder for me. Risk to reward ratios they seem to be very controversial, and everybody seems to have a different opinion on what risk to reward you should trade. And my advice to you guys is, if you like trading with a 1 to 2 and you're happy to have a slightly below 50% win rate and that's working for you, then stick to it. But if it's not working and you feel like you're just always losing and you don't know why, and you can't figure out the actual reason as to why, I would really suggest just like shoot for either a static risk to reward or shoot for a 1-to-1, because it makes it so much easier to just track the metrics and be like, okay, why am I unprofitable? It's because I entered here when I shouldn't have. Instead of like, oh, the reason I'm unprofitable is because I took half of my profits here and, you know, I probably should have let this run. It's just like, you can't keep track of that. And maybe you can keep track of it if you keep a really detailed journal, but a lot of people don't even track their trades, like, at all. Anyway, it doesn't matter what strategy you use or what risk to reward ratio you use. All I'm sort of trying to explain to you guys is why I use 1-to-1s and the benefits that I think that there are of 1-to-1s. I think that doing everything you can to just simplify your trading and make it as easy as possible to, you know, follow your rules, then that's what it takes to be profitable. And ever since I changed to a 1-to-1, I've been so much more consistent. I've been basically profitable for the last, like, since I started doing it. I haven't got a payout yet, but I've been profitable. Like, I've been above break even the whole time, and I just feel like I'm making so much progress because of it, and that's why I want to share it with you guys. So at the end of the day, every strategy is different. Everyone trades a different way. You got to make it work for your own psychology, and you just got to make it work for yourself. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. Yet again, please follow me on Instagram. I've got 5 followers, so I need to grow that a little bit, and that way I can share way more with you guys, post stories and all that sort of stuff, instead of you having to wait for me to, you know, make a whole YouTube video. Anyway, catch you boys. Appreciate you all.